I want to thank Nick and Leslie Hanauer, and Norm. It's really hard for me to not break out into song, like I've done before in front of you, like, how do we solve our problems without Norman? But I'm not going to go on. It's an undeserved honor to have been asked to announce this morning a major milestone in the Kitsap Forest and Bay project. I'd like to invite up on the stage two of the principal actors in this unfolding conservation achievement, our own Jean Duvernoy and David Nunez, the president and CEO of Pope Resource. Port Gamble is a small town with a big history on the Kitsap Peninsula. When the Port Gamble sawmill closed its doors in 1995 after 152 years of operation, it was really unclear what the future would hold for the surrounding forests and the wider community that depended on them. A broad coalition of the concerned who joined Jean and David this morning, two tribes as we've heard, local, county, and state governments, neighbors, other nonprofits, and the timber industry, recognized the importance of these lands for themselves and for the region and launched the Kitsap Forest and Bay Project with the bold goal of conserving 7,000 acres of forest land and 2 miles of shoreline in the heart of what we immodestly, but no less accurately, call the Great Peninsula. They understood that keeping these lands as forest is central to the health of both Port Gamble Bay and the wider Puget Sound. These lands will also provide critical habitat for wildlife and draw thousands of tourists from around the region for their unparalleled recreation opportunities. This vision, this work, is part of a larger conservation conversation that challenges us at both the local and regional level to think about how we manage recovery and preservation in a world where the population is growing and the geography isn't, and then to manage that out 7 generations. And to consider how we manage our choices as a community as we grapple with our need to conform the economy and our growth to the limits of nature. This morning's signing of the purchase and sale agreement for this first acquisition in the Kitsap Forest and Bay project, 535 acres and 1.5 miles of preserved shoreline, is a milestone in this larger project and forms the beginning of a response to this ongoing challenge of our time. The Kitsap Forest and Bay project illustrates the landscape scale and collaborative approach that's called for in both the Olympic and Cascade agendas. It's also key to advancing the Puget Sound Partnership's action agenda, which seeks to inspire the region to care for and preserve this singular natural bounty. The country's second largest estuary, Puget Sound, from the snowcaps to the whitecaps, Cascadia, or Salmon Nation, as some of us call it, or to paraphrase the author Tim Egan, any place that a salmon can get to, or what William Dietrich so majestically calls a universe in a mountain cradle, this geographer's delight, the Salish Sea, our home. We may all be about the grand work of ecosystem-based recovery, but we all know it happens always at the local level, as illustrated here this morning, telescope down to an important spot on Port Gamble Bay with the people who care enough to work through their differences to get it done. And as we have said here before, and we said again this morning, people who do this hard conservation work make great ancestors. So Jean and David, are you ready to sign? Have a seat.
Oh, you know. You going? Yep. I'll go too. Date, 5/29.
Sign in the right spot.
Yeah. Okay, man. I'll trade you. All right. We did it. Woo! Woo! Come on, man. Woo! This was great. Thank you, Peter. Michelle. This was great. Woo! Man, this was great. Thank you so much. This is really good.
Congratulations.
Jeremy. This was great, man. Rob.
Photo op and can breathe.
Oh, photo op.
Take
Can we take our glasses off?